So we've just started the recording. I want to welcome everybody here. And it's a pleasure to have you here. I hope you're not here because you have sleep issues, but it could be that you do. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the issues are and what essential oils we can use to help. Does anyone have a sleep issue they'd want to share?
Oh, sure. It's Terry. So about, I don't know, I've been in Florida since 2004, and I went to my new primary care doctor. He asked me about sleep, and I said, I don't remember the last time that I slept well through the night. The only time I do is if I have anesthesia, which is rare, thankfully.
Right, wow.
I do not sleep well.
Okay. There's all kinds of reasons. So let's start. So as always, the medical disclaimer. So interesting. I don't know why my screen had that green mark on it. So let's go back a little. The information presented here is for informational and personal use only and should not be assumed to be taken as medical advice. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. So, why is sleep so important? Sleep plays a vital role in good health and well-being throughout your life. I see someone else has joined us, I think. Is there someone else here? Don't know. Okay. So getting enough good quality sleep at the right times can help protect your mental health, physical health, quality of life, and your safety. The way you feel when you're awake depends in part on what happens while you're asleep. During sleep, your body is working to support healthy brain function and maintain your physical health. In children and teens, sleep also helps support growth and development. So the damage from sleep deficiency can occur in an instant, such as like a car crash, or it can build up harm over time. For example, ongoing sleep deficiency can raise your risk for some chronic health problems. It also can affect how well you think, react, work, learn, and get along with other people. So here's your brain. With and without sleep. So sleep helps your brain work properly, and while you're sleeping, your brain is preparing for the next day. It's forming new pathways to help learn and remember information. So I guess we can tell which one has had better sleep than the other. So studies show that a good night's sleep improves learning, whether you're learning math, how to play the piano, how to perfect your golf game. I think, Terry, you play golf, right?
I do. Not so much anymore, though.
Okay. Or how to drive a car. Sleep helps enhance your learning and problem-solving skills. It also helps you pay attention, make decisions, and be creative. So studies also show that sleep deficiency alters activity in some parts of the brain, as we can see here. If you're sleep deficient, you may have trouble controlling your emotions and behavior and coping with change. Sleep deficiency also has been linked to depression, suicide, and risk-taking behavior. Whoops. It's jumping ahead here. My thing is going out of control here. Okay.
Maybe it needs some sleep.
It needs some sleep. It's been up all day. So sleep plays an important role in your physical health. So for example, sleep is involved in healing and repairing your heart and blood vessels. And ongoing deficiency is linked to an increased risk of heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke. It also increases your risk for obesity. So that's why we have this donut and cup of coffee here. So for example, one study of teenagers showed that with each hour of sleep loss, the odds of becoming obese went up. Sleep deficiency increases the risk of obesity in other age groups as well. I'm sorry, was there a question?
No, I was just saying your cortisol levels go up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So sleep deficiency also, I did that. So you maintain your healthy balance of hormones that make you feel hungry. So there's ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and leptin, which is when you're full. So when you don't get enough sleep, your level of ghrelin goes up and your level of leptin goes down. And it makes you feel hungrier than when you're well rested. So I will just share, I've been really tired the last few weeks. I've been doing way too much, so my sleep has been impacted. And I've been like starving.
Me too. It's like, why am I so hungry? Why am I so?
It almost feels like, winter hunger when you start,
Yeah.
body gets ready for winter, but it's summer now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you
Yeah,
find
I generally
you go for the
I
wrong
generally don't
things?
feel that way unless I visit the Northeast in the wintertime, you know?
Okay, so it's not just me, but and then I crave things that I don't want to eat. Like I've been craving carbs, so which is not good. So, and then also your immune system relies on sleep to stay healthy. So it defends your body against foreign and harmful substances. And if you're constantly deficient, it can change the way your immune system responds. So you could have, trouble fighting off infections. You could get colds much more easily. So that's is involved in everything.
Wow.
Okay. So getting enough quality sleep at the right times helps you function well throughout the day. After several nights of losing sleep, even a loss of just 1 or 2 hours, your ability to function suffers as if you haven't slept at all, which sounds extreme, but I can see that if you're certainly off and not getting enough sleep. So it also can lead to something called microsleep. And microsleep refers to brief moments of sleep that occur when you're normally awake. So you can't control it, and you might not even be aware of it. So for example, have you ever driven somewhere and then not remembered part of the trip? I know I have.
That's scary.
And that's called microsleep.
Wow.
So here's this little gentleman. So drowsy drivers, they don't realize they feel capable that they can drive. Yet studies show that sleep deficiency harms your driving ability as much or more than being drunk.
Wow.
It's estimated that driver sleepiness is a factor in about 100,000 car accidents each year, resulting in about 1,500 deaths.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yep.
Family member died that way. Yeah.
You have a family member who died that way?
Yeah, a distant family member, but he was young. He was traveling home from New York to Florida at Christmas time, young, thinking he could stay awake, and he fell asleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
So many years ago, it's been a long time now, I used to get 4 to 5 hours at night of sleep, and I would fall asleep driving. And I'd always wake up, but that brief moment. And then one day I bumped into a car, just a light tap in the back. I said, okay, I have to look into this. And I went for a sleep study. And, they determined I didn't have sleep apnea. And they made me stay the next day to nap. And I said, I don't nap, but I was able to nap there. And the diagnosis basically was idiopathic hypersomnolence. So when I wasn't actively moving around and doing things, I could just fall asleep. And it would be trouble for me in meetings as well. So that's why this driving thing, it's really so important. And drivers aren't the only ones affected by sleep deficiency. It can affect people in all kinds of work. So healthcare workers, pilots, students. You don't want your pilot to be falling asleep. And the medication they gave me was called Provigil, and pilots use that a lot to keep themselves awake.
Wow.
So as a result, sleep deficiency is not only harmful on a personal level, but it can also cause large-scale damage. For example, sleep deficiency has played a role in human errors linked to tragic accidents such as nuclear reactor meltdowns, grounding of large ships, and aviation accidents. So it does happen.
Hmm.
So let's give you a few tips for a better night's sleep. So, so if we need sleep for our health and prevention of more serious diseases, and we don't always want to take medication or because of side effects, what can we do? So one is to stick to a sleep schedule. And so it means the same time you wake up and sleep, and even on weekends. Doing so will help your body clock to regulate and assist in both falling asleep and staying asleep at night. Does anyone have a sleep routine?
Yeah, I do that. I pretty much do that.
Okay.
I struggle with that, I have to say. I really struggle because I'm just not a routine kind of person.
I know that.
It just sort of carries over into my sleep also, but I do notice that when I really, command myself to do that, that there's absolutely a difference in, the quality of my sleep. And the funny thing is that I always think, oh, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep now, I can't fit my sleep into the schedule. And I always feel like a little anxious about that. But then, I do use oils, and that sort of takes the edge off the anxiety. And then, I fall asleep, surprisingly enough. Yeah.
So, and then the thing is to have a bedtime ritual. So it's good, and I try to do it. It doesn't always work, but allow a good 30 minutes for relaxing routine, before you go to sleep. That means no technology. So separate your bed and sleep time from activities that cause stress or anxiety or excitement. And that includes like watching television, having computer screens on. The blue light really impacts our ability to sleep well.
Yeah.
Now I have there avoid naps. Well, if you take naps and you sleep well at night, that's fabulous. But if you don't sleep well at night and you're taking naps, you can be impacting that sleep as well. So sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it can be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm not a napper at all, but I know people who can take those little power naps, they call them. I can't. I'm not a napper at all. I mean, I can't even. By the time I fall asleep, it's time to get up.
Yeah, the power naps. I mean, on a rare occasion, I'll do that, but it does make you feel better if you make sure you're up in like no more than 20 minutes. You can't go longer.
Right.
You get too deep in your sleep.
Right.
And then
I can't
daily.
even fall asleep in 20 minutes.
You can't what for 15 minutes?
I can't even fall asleep in 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So daily exercise. So it's recommended by the National Sleep Foundation that we should be exercising. The only thing, even light is beneficial if you don't do just a light exercise as well. I don't necessarily recommend it. Depends on your body and how your system reacts. Try not to exercise too close to bedtime unless that, helps you sleep. So something to look at, but always the exercise is important. And then evaluate your sleeping space. Your bedroom needs to promote a good night's sleep. So the temperature it's recommended between 60 and 67 degrees is optimal. If there's noise in the room, you want to try to diminish that. You could consider earplugs or white noise machines or other devices, whatever would block the noise. Make the room as dark as possible. You could do blackout curtains and eye covers. Also be aware of allergens, so a good air purifier may help. So briefly, I recently did my bedroom over this year, and I had things in there that had to go. They were toxic to me. And once doing that bedroom over and getting a new bedroom set, my sleep is so much better.
Yeah. So my big thing is living in Florida from about at least April to December, unless you are going to spend a fortune, you cannot keep the room between 60 and 67. Like, I loved it in the wintertime because the heat never comes on and the temperature stays like in the low 60s, even sometimes 50s if we have cold weather. But in the summer, there's no way I can keep it that cold. in the
You'd
room.
have to have
No
the
way.
air conditioning blasting the whole time.
It wouldn't even, probably the system would shut down. It wouldn't be able to go that low.
Wow.
Because the temperature is so high outside that, you know,
Right.
it's working overtime just to keep it in the low 70s.
Is a good reason not to move to Florida. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
For me, that is. Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing is a good mattress. And the mattress and the pillows can make a huge difference in how you sleep. So, and I'll share again, when I changed my bed over, I got a brand new mattress, a new bed, and new pillows. And I've had neck pain for years. I mean, I'd wake up and my neck was always sore and hurt. And once I changed my bed and the pillows, it's better. So,
Right.
that. And then last but not least, you know, essential oils. So we know the benefits of the oils, but there's many that are well known to help you with sleep. And I'm just going to talk about just a few of them because there's a lot. So lavender. In the field of complementary medicine, lavender is well known as a super oil, especially when it comes to sleep. And science, happily, I'm happy to say, will back that claim. Lavender has been reported as a natural remedy for mild insomnia with no long-term side effects. Excuse me. A study in 2015 involving 79 college students investigated lavender oil on sleep, showing it did improve sleep quality with a significant finding for waking feeling refreshed. So that's another important part of it. Lavender calms the nervous system by lowering blood pressure, heart rate, and skin temperature. All processes that take place during the body's natural transition to sleep. So those things should be happening as you're falling asleep. And lavender alleviates mild insomnia and reduces those anxious thoughts by literally changing your brain waves to a more relaxing state. So there was a study that focused on ICU patients, and they found it significantly reduced their anxiety and increased their sleep quality. It was so effective at calming that it's recommended as a complementary therapy to other treatment options for anxiety and depression in postpartum women. So I keep lavender on my nightstand. I keep it there mainly for leg cramps, but you know, waking up, if I'm restless, I will, you know, open the bottle and smell it. But a good thing you can do before bed, you can add it to if you take a bath before going to sleep, and that's a recommendation for a lot of things. I would take the oil, put a few drops into the bath salts or whatever I'm adding. So it'll go much better into the water if you add it to the salts first, then add it to the water, then dripping the water, the oils directly into the water, because they would just like float on top otherwise. So that's a nice thing to do. Diffusing it is wonderful. Apply to the bottom of your feet or wrists. People like to spray it on their pillows. I generally don't do that. Lily, do you use lavender at night?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been using this way has the lavender in it.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I've been using the Stress Away that has the lavender in it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all have to find whatever works for us.
Right. Yeah.
Experimentation, but I know you like the Stress Away. Yeah.
The lavender is such a
like I'd like to find something, because my mother won't take a pill. I'm sure she suffers from sleep deprivation. I was trying to think of something that wouldn't be too hard on her, you know, being older.
Well, what about lavender?
I don't know, maybe. I'll have to see. I'll have to try that.
Or chamomile.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Roman chamomile.
Yeah.
Even safe for babies. So
Chamamole's a really nice one. Gentle.
And you can start slowly with her, you know, not try to overwhelm her with any of the oils.
Right.
But lavender is a good choice, but we'll talk a little bit about chamomile as well. So I have vetiver here. Now I like using vetiver. It comes from a perennial grass that's native to tropical regions in Asia. It has an earthy, sort of exotic aroma. They steam distill it from the plant's roots, gives it a warm, woodsy scent that has been used since ancient times. It's been around for a long time. It's also great for work and study areas. And it's just that it's sort of a viscous, it's a little thicker kind of oil. So you often have to dilute it with a carrier oil as well.
So that's a complete, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell me about vetiver.
Oh, no, I was going to say that it's so different from the lavender. I mean, like if you're not inclined to a florally, some folks don't like the floral part of the lavender.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, vetiver is completely opposite from that because, like Vicki said, it's from the root.
Very earthy.
So
Yeah.
Very, very earthy and grounding. So it's a completely different scent, which is interesting. And it has the same effect, though. I mean, I've used vetiver.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a good idea. I have a sister-in-law who hates lavender. She
Okay.
hates it.
A lot of people do. Yeah.
A lot of people do. They don't like that flowery scent, you know. It's relaxing for them, you know.
Yeah. So, and you can do the same thing with the vetiver. You know, you can put it in a bath the same way. You could massage it onto your skin. You can combine it, you know, if someone wants to, if they wanted to diffuse it and didn't want the straight vetiver, if they liked, they could add some lavender or something else to it to cut down some of the earthiness. So there's lots of different ways of using that as well.
Right.
And then there's valerian. So valerian root is often taken as a sleep aid, and it's a common ingredient in many bedtime herbal teas. So the essential oil contains something called valerianic acid, and it produces a sedative effect. So there have been multiple studies that have shown it improves sleep quality. On the bottom of the slides, I've been adding some of the studies just to show that there are actual studies done. So this plant is native to Belgium and Croatia, but they're now growing it in North America and Asia. And now with valerian does not have a good smell. Do you agree, Lily?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It's like an awful smell. So
Okay.
some people say it's like dirty feet or something. But it does work. It really does help with sleep.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to diffuse it, I might suggest diffusing it with something else to cut it a little bit. You know, maybe lavender, maybe, you know, something else you like. You can massage it. You can put it on, as I said, the bottom of your feet. So it's just another great one. You can make a foot bath, or, you know, soak your feet in it. So just adding valerian and you know, whatever other oil or tea tree, and that would really be an interesting combo. And a little bit of salt in there, and just relax that way. That's another good thing to do, is a foot bath if you don't want to take a full bath.
Right. And I've read somewhere that this valerian also is a source plant for the medication Valium, for Valium.
Oh, really? That's probably where the name.
Yeah, because they take like one of the chemical constituents from valerian. You know how many drugs are, like, of course, plant-based, but, you know, they tweak them to.
Yeah, and they make them.
So they can produce them in the lab, and valerian is one of those that's the source for Valium.
Yeah. So that's another possibility, depending upon, Terry, what your mother might like. And then there's the Roman chamomile. So there's several types of chamomile.
She always used to like chamomile tea.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from the different types of chamomiles, Roman is the best for relieving insomnia and anxiety. So there was a study that explored.
Oh, that might be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really lovely. It's very soft scented.
Yeah.
Comforting. Yeah, it's a beautiful oil.
Yeah. So they did a study, and they found that the volunteers experienced more drowsiness and calmness, and it put them into a restful state. So inhalation of chamomile reduces a stress-induced increase in plasma adrenocorticotropic hormone levels. So it's impacting those hormone levels. And in a 2005 study, it's an older one, chamomile extracts exhibit benzodiazepine-like hypnotic activity.
Really?
That's a real interesting one. So
Wow.
yeah, a significant decrease in the time it took to fall asleep was observed in rats who received chamomile extract. And they've also shown that, that the Roman chamomile can reduce nightmares, which is interesting. So again, you can diffuse it in the air.
Right. So what do you think is the easiest way for her to use, for an elderly person to use it?
So now, is she alone now, or is there someone with her?
Well, my nephew and his wife are moving in, but they're not moved in yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It could just be for her if she's able to do it instead of having her play with a diffuser or anything like that, is just to apply it to the bottom of her feet before she goes to bed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she could even, put the Roman chamomile, a little bit of a carrier oil, and just rub it into her feet. It would soften her feet a little bit too. So, maybe you'd have two things. I mean, that might be the best. And maybe when someone's living with her, I don't know if she takes a bath, it would be a nice bath thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And diffusing it is a possibility.
Right.
But I think for her right now, probably just applying it to the bottom of her feet. Do you agree?
Yeah. Could she apply it to her wrist too?
She could put it on her wrists. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was just going to say, really any place on her body, because
yeah,
but not
might
straight. But not straight, right?
Well, Roman chamomile is so gentle that she probably could do it neat. The only problem in doing that is, the first time somebody does, it's always good to test it, and start with it,
right,
dilute it a little in a carrier oil, because I don't know how sensitive her skin is.
Right.
Okay.
But Roman chamomile is one of the gentlest oils.
Okay. I think that's the one for her.
Yeah.
She could even really just, have it as a hand, just to massage her hands with it, to keep her skin soft or something, and just put it in a carrier oil like coconut or jojoba or something like that.
Yeah,
and even
make up a little bottle already diluted, and so all she has to do is, take a little out of the bottle of that and rub it in her hand.
Right.
Okay, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last oil is cedarwood.
Mm-hmm.
So cedarwood is extracted through a steam distillation from wood pieces of the cedarwood tree. Surprise. So it's a plant that's native to cold climates and normally found in high altitudes. Its popular use as a sedative might be the most unexpected, valuable aspect. It's an excellent sedative, has a great soothing and calming effect on the mind. It also cures and helps with inflammation and itching of the skin while relieving tension and anxiety. So that could even help, falling asleep if, those are issues.
That might be perfect for me. And I just got my cedarwood.
I love cedarwood. Yeah.
I just got mine. So I didn't know it did all those things, because all those things that might be the perfect one for me. But how do you use it to help with the inflammation and all of that?
I'll tell you in a minute. So let me see if there's anything else that was interesting about that. So just so to say it, so the cedarwood promotes healthy, restorative, and uninterrupted sleep, which is often used for patients who suffer from insomnia. But the scent can induce the release of serotonin, which is converted into melatonin in the brain. And the melatonin, induces a calm, restorative sleep. So it does really work. I like putting cedarwood. I put a drop on the top of my head. Put a little bit. You can put a drop above your eyebrows, the back of your neck, sort of on your brain stem.
Uh-huh.
I do that every night before I go to sleep.
Wow.
You could also put some.
I put some drops in my shampoo.
Yeah, I said
Oh, good.
shampoo and conditioner makes your hair nicer.
Yeah.
And it's a nice thing to do, sort of like a, a scalp massage, a few drops between your hands, rub it into your scalp. Be really good. So, and I haven't diffused it, but I don't see why you couldn't diffuse it. So
Sure.
it's another earthy smell, but it's a lovely. So I really enjoy that.
What does that mix good with?
As far as a carrier oil?
Yeah, carrier oil and another essential oil, like if you were going to do 2 or something.
Well, you could, if you want to, take away a little of the woodsiness, you could add, of course, you could do lavender. There's other oils that are good that I didn't talk about tonight. There's bergamot, ylang ylang, frankincense, lemongrass. They all help with sleep.
Yeah.
So like the ylang ylang is expensive. So, and the frankincense is expensive, but any of those would be a good combination. Even orange, I think, would be nice.
Yeah.
Or try it straight.
Okay.
Just neat, without any other oils. And
you put like on the base of your neck, straight neat like that.
I do, but if you've never used it before, I recommend using a carrier oil first, just to make sure you don't have any, your skin is okay with it.
Yeah.
It's always better that way. On the top of my head, I just do it neat. And I've not had an issue with cedarwood. And then I like to take a deep inhalation. I sometimes put a drop in my hands, just rub them together, come in my nose and breathe it in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also really good for the skin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you might be able to just use it just neat, be fine. Now I'm just going to mention this. If in addition to the oils, or if your sleep is even more challenging, Young Living does have a supplement called Sleep Essence, and it comes in vegetarian capsules. So, and in the capsules, it contains lavender, vetiver, valerian. So 3 of the oils we talked about already, and another one called ruta graveolens. Now, and then there's a little bit of melatonin in there. So the ruta, I didn't talk about that because they don't have it anymore. So I don't know if they're going to be changing this sleep essence or not. But they used to have an oil, which I bought some of the last ones they had, called Rutavala, which is another nice thing for sleep. So, but I've used them. The Sleep Essence does help. So it's another possibility.
Yeah, Mom wouldn't do that. She won't.
No, recommend that. No.
Yeah.
So I just like this. A good laugh and a long sleep are the 2 best cures for anything. So
yeah. I like that.
So are there any takeaways from this? Did you learn anything you didn't know before?
Oh, yes, a lot. As you know, I've not had a lot of time to spend on my essential oils, getting to know them.
Right.
So, but just all this description that you just gave, like, for sure the Roman chamomile, I mean, I could probably use it, but it sounds perfect for, like, specifically because of the anxiety and everything. I mean, I have that too, but I think like the cedarwood and maybe the valerian might be better for me, but the Roman chamomile I think would be perfect for my mother. And then the vetiver, the family members that hate lavender.
Yeah, vetiver may be great. Or
yeah.
even
I'm thinking of putting essential oil gifts at Christmas.
Okay.
And
you'll make them up a sleep package.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If I can think if I can find time and figure out how to do it, I'll be calling you, Vicki.
Well, I will be here to help you. So Lily, just so you'll know, Terry's mother has not been well and lives alone and far away from Terry. So.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then
Well,
you
yeah.
know how to reach me and my contact information, but I thought I would have it there for the.
This has been great.
Okay.
That's what I've been able to tell you, but I have all the recordings.
Well, you know, Terry, I have the feeling that certainly, let me start my video so you can see. There I am again. Here we are.
Oh, right.
So I feel that, you know, once our study is totally out of the realm, that maybe things will calm down a little bit for you. I'm hoping.
Well, no, we'll see.
We'll see. I know.
Yeah. Might have to do something different for it to come down. I don't know.
Well, and you'll make that decision. I know. Yeah.
So, Vicki, I'd like to say my big takeaway was about the hormone levels and the obesity in sleep.
Yes.
And your share about, you know, when you don't sleep and this hunger that you're having lately. I can absolutely identify with that. I'm like, I'm hungry like it's going into fall, not summer.
Right.
And I'm thinking back and I'm thinking, yeah, but my sleep has been disrupted recently.
Right, and I've noticed that lately. Why am I so hungry? And, you know, sort of like when you're in the, you know, really, I mean, coming from central New York, I know what it's like to be in the winter. And that's what it felt like, only it was hot outside.
Dear.
Well, there's lots of energy disturbances going on in the universe right now with moons and the 3 months in a row, the energy. And Lily's a very intuitive feeler, and she's been feeling that energy building already for a while. And that I know impacts your sleep.
Yeah, I noticed that like for work, you know, with all the travel, I'm sure that causes some trouble. But you know, I've been doing it for a long time, so some things it doesn't really cause trouble.